3. She has, oh, perfect. So Dara is a mom of 3, and she has a little girl and 2 twin boys who actually, funny fact, were born on the exact same day as my son Caleb. So we have shared birthdays there with our little ones. And she began coaching shortly after they were born. Is that right, Dara? They were just a couple months old, I believe.
Yep.
And so she is someone who I got to know a little bit in Cancun, and just really look up to her and the way that she runs her business. And she's a 4-star diamond coach. Is that right?
Yep. This is my last week of qualification for 5-star.
So exciting. So she is definitely someone who is a leader, who has such a heart for moms, and this business has really helped her to kind of find a little bit of identity in. And I don't want to steal her thunder, so I'm not going to share too much more, but guys, I'm so excited for you to hear everything that she has to say. And so Dara, go ahead and take it away. We're so excited to have you.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here. I told Vanessa it was an honor to even be asked. I feel like a little bit, there's so many amazing coaches in Beachbody, and so I feel like it's easy to like fly under the radar, and even when you feel like you're doing big things, you don't always get noticed. So it was just really nice to be asked, to be honest. It was nice for my ego, I'm not going to lie. Like she said, I am a mom of 3. But I'll start a little bit further back than that. I grew up in Tampa, Florida, and I'm 31 years old, and I was a pole vaulter at the University of Florida. That's where I met my husband. He's a baseball player, and I loved being a part of a team at UF. It was the best experience of my life, to be honest. And when I graduated from college, I missed it so much, and so much of my identity had been wrapped up in being an athlete and my social life there and being a Gator and just all kinds of things. So I left college and entered the real world, which was a tougher transition than I ever imagined. I had always just been very confident and like hardworking, and had very clear-cut goals and a clear-cut direction. And then you just kind of get thrown into like that world, and there's no next step. There's no, after high school you go to college, and after college you go to grad school, and then what? I wasn't in a relationship at the time, so it was just like a blank slate, which for me scared me, apparently. Shortly thereafter, though, I did reconnect with my now husband, and we started dating, and not long after we were engaged and then married, and he was a professional baseball player. So then I left Tampa, which was where my home was, my family, my lifelong friends, and my church, to go be with him and chase his baseball dreams, which was such an honor and privilege to be able to do. And there were a lot of ups and downs, but what a blessing that we even got that opportunity. However, in the midst of all that, looking back now, I can see how much I lost myself. I didn't have anything that was for me. Everything I did was because of Matt and his career. And I didn't have children yet at the beginning. And, I had my friends in baseball, but it was just the most bizarre. I was a stay-at-home wife, not a stay-at-home mom, a stay-at-home wife. I had nothing to do, and I grew lazier and lazier, and I was not motivated. I had no dreams. I had no tangible goals. And it was wearing on me in ways, again, I didn't even realize. Looking back now, it was just this bizarre time of my life where I was lost, and I had no confidence, and I had no dreams. I wasn't passionate about anything really. So then I became a mom to my first daughter, Sienna. She's almost 4 now. And that certainly helped fill that void. But, there still wasn't much for me. Finally, after I had the twins, I was desperate. I felt like I was only good for making milk and, cleaning up spit up and changing diapers. And I was so ready for just, again, something for me to do and to be selfish and take time for me and invest in me. And all of that sounds so selfish, but it's because of that desperate place that I finally decided to do Beachbody in January of 2014. Sienna was not even 2.5, and my twins, Price and Maddox, were 2 months old. So, that seems like pretty horrible timing, but I was desperate enough to make it work. And I had first heard about Beachbody in 2010 from Lindsay Matway. And I ran the other way as fast as I could because it was network marketing. And even if it worked, which I didn't believe it did, I was so intimidated by having to recruit people and stuff. So anyways, but finally, like I said, I was desperate enough. So I took the plunge. So I started out very skeptical, very timid, with very small dreams. I thought, man, if I could just make a few $100 a month, that would be amazing. That's a few $100 more than I'm making now. Again, I had been a stay-at-home wife since 2008. So I hadn't earned an income and brought in any money for 5 or 6 years. And it's not that we needed it necessarily, but man, it felt good even for that first few $100. And as I started, just earning some of those commissions every month, I just started to believe more in the business. And I listened to those team calls, and at first I was I would roll my eyes and be like, God, these are just this inspirational, hokey stuff, but little by little, I started to believe and I started to dream bigger. And, my first month, pretty much on accident, I hit Success Club 10. So I was like, oh, well, I still was competitive enough from my athletic days to be oh, I guess I should at least try to keep that up, So Success Club quickly became a non-negotiable for me, despite the fact that I really didn't even know what it meant the first few months. But it just, again, that tangible goal, that is what I craved from my life before, and just being a mom is just those tangible goals you could cling to and work hard and go after. So Success Club 10 became my non-negotiable, and I was able to, do that. And slowly I just started to gain momentum. And I do mean slowly. I wasn't one of those people that went diamond in 60 days. It took me almost 8 full months to go diamond, which I'm not saying is extraordinarily long, but some people do it in 30 days. And I also wanted to point out that while I was hitting Success Club, I wasn't recruiting. Recruiting still is not something that comes naturally to me. If I recruit 5 coaches in a month, that's a big deal. So I didn't really have any team until 7 months in. I think I started in January. In March, I posted my first invite to the coaching opportunity. And I swear I got 0 comments, 0 messages, nothing. And it was so humiliating and discouraging to put myself out there like that and just get so little response. But I continued to invite to the coaching opportunity through Facebook posts. I was doing very little personal inviting. So that's another story. But all of a sudden, after Summit in June, in the month of July, I posted again my invite to the sneak peek, truly not pretty much just expecting to get 0 feedback, because that's what I had gotten every other time. I think I had 4 people on my team in July, and most of them were just discount coaches and not working it. And then I put out that sneak peek in July, and I had 17 people say they wanted to be a part of the sneak peek. And I probably signed 5 or 6 coaches that month. And I was and that's when I went diamond, and I was just floor bound. I couldn't believe that it had actually worked. The consistency, it finally just, people started noticing, and I had earned that credibility and gained that credibility by being consistent despite the lack of results early on. Again, at least in the recruiting realm, I was hitting Success Club and getting some customers. But, I remember Lindsay Matway at the very beginning told me, just think about, hit Success Club. And whatever. And I was just like, all right, well, I can try to do that. And she's like, and the rest will come. I'm like, okay. And the rest came. I didn't do anything different in July than I did in January, February, March, or April. And yet people started noticing, and that's all I can say. And from there, it's just been, again, I've still had some months that are harder than others for sure, but it's just been a slow rolling, snowball. And I guess what I really want to encourage you with is that this really can be a game changer in your family. I earned over $8,000 last month. And again, 18 months ago, my goal was to earn $500 a month, and if you can just let yourself believe in yourself and create that vision that this can work for you, do so. So I kind of want to just talk about my takeaways from all that I've learned. Some of them I'll just say because and some of them I will, expand on. So the very first thing for me, and it looks like, I know Vanessa said most of you are moms, stay-at-home moms, which, by the way, as my husband was leaving for work today, he said, I'm working at work, but you have the hardest job. Nothing I do will ever be harder than this. And he only knows because he stayed home with the kids a few days a week before he found, my husband's not in baseball anymore. He found a real job. So, I don't mean baseball's not a real job. Trust me, it is. It's a very real, hard job. But anyways, that ended. And so he stayed home with the kids a few days. So time management. Again, I had a 2-year-old and two 2-month-olds when I started. I was exclusively pumping. I did that for 5 months. And literally I had 20-minute increments throughout my days. I did not have 3-hour time periods like I have now. I did not have, just all the time that some coaches have. And I'm sure you guys don't either. So time management was huge. And I think Michelle Myers said it on a call the other night. You need your to-do list and you need your must-do list. And sometimes my must-do list is the only thing that gets done. I don't always get around to blogging or making a video or creating a pretty graphic for my, Coaches in Success Club. Sometimes it's just a list of their names and tagged, Sometimes I don't blog. Sometimes all I manage to do is answer the messages that I need to, answer that day. And that has to be okay. But I really encourage you, figure out what your list of must-dos is. Checking into your challenge groups, and making sure you're there for your customers, answering Beachbody related messages. And I do think doing conversation starters, I don't know if that's what you call them on your team. For us, that's just when you reach out to someone to reconnect. You're not talking about Beachbody. You're just saying, hey, I was just thinking about you. How are you doing? To me, those are non-negotiables and on my must-do lists every day. And so I really encourage you to not just make a list of your must-dos, but making a list of the people that you then need to message or follow up with. Or that was huge for me as a mom to 3 very young children early on before they were on more of a schedule the way they are now. Hit Success Club. That has been key to my business. I don't think I need to talk about it anymore. There's a million people that can tell you about why that's important. But I will say it's just as important for me. And that is the only thing I focused on for the first 6 months of my business. And it paid off. Consistency. I don't always get around to posting 5 times a day on Facebook. I don't think I ever post 5 times a day on Facebook, but I do at least try to post 3 times. Some days it's 1, some days but just keep posting, keep consistent in that. Stay consistent in reading personal development and stay consistent in, conversation starting. I really think choosing to trust and hope in this process is so important. You don't know me. You didn't know Vanessa, maybe. You didn't know Becca, her upline. But I hope you can choose to trust us, because that for me is the only thing that kept me going when I was discouraged, is when Lindsay Matway said, Dara, your income, if you keep doing what you're doing, your income will triple because of the resolution effect, and that seemed insane to me. Why would it do that? Why would my income triple? But I chose to trust her and keep doing what I was doing. And on the days that I didn't want to do the things I needed to do, I chose to trust her. I chose to do them because of believing in the process and trusting that my income was going to triple in just 3 months' time. And you know what? It did. And she was right. And so if you can just, again, take a hold of what I'm saying and what Becca says and what Vanessa says and what Lindsay says and all of these top coaches, choose to trust it and believe it. And that is what helped me fight off discouragement. It was that hope, and it was that hope in this business and that it was going to work for me. That was huge for me in fighting off discouragement. And of course, personal development is huge in fighting off discouragement. My daughter's calling me. Hold on. Yes, Sienna. You need to come in here. I wish I hadn't gotten so discouraged over a coach who I thought was going to sign up and then didn't, or a coach who I thought was going to be a rock star and then wasn't. Try not to don't put all your eggs in one basket. The right coaches are going to come along if you are doing you and if you are doing the things I've talked about. So don't get hung up on, don't let one coach defeat you. Don't let one coach, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I told Vanessa we might get interrupted. Hold on one sec. Sienna, I told you needed to come and see me. What? Okay. Sorry about that. Do y'all's kids talk yet? No. Careful what you wish for. So yeah, don't get hung up over one coach that decides this isn't for her and she could be great, because there are going to be other coaches that come along. Never stop conversation starting. My worst months in my business were last December and actually this January. And I had gotten I think I had thought I was a big deal, and I just needed to deal with the customers and coaches I had, and I did not have time to reconnect with new people. I did not have time to reach out to new friends, and that hurt my business. And Lindsay Matway told me she never stops. She goes, you always have to conversation start. She goes, because I'm getting a lot of applications. I don't have a lack or a shortage of coaches, but are they the coaches that I want in my business? She goes, to get the coaches I want in my business, I still have to conversation start. And that was very eye-opening for me. If the top coach in 2013 is still making an effort to reach out to new people, then I better be still doing that. And once I started doing that again, Success Club was coming easier again every month. I was getting more coaches, more customers. So I am big on that. Never stop. My goal is to do 10 a week, and I don't do them every day. I choose one day where I do all my conversation starters. And for my time management, that just works best for me. And again, it's easier to have a list to work from. So I have all the names of people that I want a conversation start. And that takes time to make that list, going through my friends list, and I'm running out of people. But that really helps. There's also something I've only done recently, but man, I like it. Write your goals down every month and read them out loud daily, and also include positive affirmations. I write my goals out every month, and I don't necessarily read my monthly goals out loud, but my bigger goals that are short term and my bigger goals that are long term. For instance, I wanted to start 5-star qualification by June 24th. So I had on my thing, I will be 5-star qualifying by June 24th. I will attend Leadership 2015. I will earn $5,000 a week by December 31st. Those are the kinds of goals that are on my list. I don't necessarily have, I will hit Success Club, because for me, that's that's not a goal. That's just something that's going to happen. But if Success Club is a struggle for you, write that down. I will hit Success Club 10 this month and read it every single day. I also include some positive affirmations like, I am an incredible and effective leader. I will attract extraordinary coaches to my business. Again, I struggle with recruiting and I've questioned my leadership a lot. So those are things that I needed to just affirm in myself. And obviously I need to do more than just say it out loud. I'm reading books and stuff, but I promise this was not me. I didn't even do this in college, when I was an athlete and had these big athletic goals. But man, I like doing it. And as excited as I am to be 5-star qualifying, it wasn't this like, oh my gosh, because it was like, I had been saying it for 2 months. I had been saying it. And so I don't know. It's not that I'm not grateful. I am, but it's crazy how it just becomes your reality when you set it over and over. So I really encourage you, again, choose a few of your big goals, write them down, put it in a place you're going to see it. Mine's in my bathroom, and say it daily. Okay, you can be in here, but you have to be quiet, okay? You want to say hi? This is Sienna. She's almost 4. Okay, sorry. Never stop, write your goals down. Oh, this something again. I'm just kind of, like I said, sharing the things I've learned in my business. There's no rhyme or reason to this call. Something I really, I had to do a lot of self-evaluating. So from like August to December, I was recruiting some strong coaches and they were hitting Success Club and it was just going really well. And then from January to March, I don't think I had one new coach hit Success Club or like get started right. I had more new coaches quit in those few months than I'd ever had. So it was time to self-evaluate. And I'm really big on like not reinventing the wheel. So I had just been using other coaches, trainings to get coaches started right. And I think that is fine until it stopped working. So I had to reevaluate and I went back to me. What made me keep doing this business? Again, I was not a big dreamer. I did not have a big vision for my life. I was very skeptical and hesitant. The reason I kept going is because I made that first $100. I made money my first month. So I totally revamped my coach training to focus on hitting Success Club or even just getting 1 or 2 customers your first month. And so my new coach training is very basic. I don't talk about going emerald. And I'm not saying like you have to do this or that might not be the way your team works, and that is fine. I'm just saying what I did for me and my team. I didn't talk about going emerald. I didn't ask them to tell me their why. I didn't ask them to set goals. Because again, if a coach was like me, they didn't know what kind of goals to set their first month. They don't know the Beachbody lingo yet. They didn't know their why. My why has changed multiple times and it will continue to change, and that's okay. But I did make money my first month, and that is what kept me going. And so I kind of felt like I had been overwhelming some of my new coaches with a lot of great information, but information that was not necessarily making them that first $100. So if you're struggling with getting your new coaches started right, figure out how to help them make that first commission, even if it's just 1 challenge pack. Have them just focus on that. And again, like I said, I don't even talk about emerald. I don't even talk about the dreams. And something else I've done is I don't do new coach training groups anymore. I felt like I was putting in all the effort and my coaches were not. So I send them my new coach training document and it has like the 11 or 12 lessons. And I say, here you go. You can do this all in 1 day, or you can take 3 months to do it. When you're done, you get in touch with me. And I kind of released myself. I felt like I was feeling guilty for lack of their success. I felt like I was feeling like it was all on me. And so I put the ball in their court. And that's just freed me up a lot as a leader. I'm there to answer every question they have, but I don't do these groups where I'm posting every day and like putting my time in that way because it just wasn't working for me anymore. There might be a time I do that again. And that's the thing about this business. This is working now. It might not work in 3 months. So don't be afraid to change things up and self-evaluate a lot. That's all I have. My last one was read personal development, and I have covered that already. I hope that was helpful. I know it was just kind of like, I don't know, it's weird when you guys can't interact, but I would love you guys to get off mute, and if you have any questions, I would love to talk to you and see where you're at with your businesses, and give you, it's just nice to get some different perspectives on people on different teams. And thank you again, Vanessa, for, having me on the call. Any questions? You can write them in chat or unmute yourselves.
Did you feel like you got more from invitations?
I'm sorry. For some reason you went out momentarily. Will you repeat the question?
Yeah. I'm just curious about your success with selling challenge packs. Do you feel like it came a lot from your invitations, or were you mainly doing it through Facebook posts?
I was mainly doing it through Facebook posts. I did start, I think we all come into certain advantages and disadvantages in this business. And I did start with like probably a larger network than most. So I think that worked for me. And I can be honest, and this is something I regret, I have only really in the last few months started personally inviting people because I've rested on my laurels, because I usually get a decent enough feedback on my posts. So for me, the Facebook posting works, but I think personal invites are big. And to be honest, again, I haven't been training my team well enough in that area either. I think, there's a way to do it where it's not like no pressure or aggressive. What do you do, and where have you struggled?
Well, I'm only a couple months in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like the emerald personality, so I definitely am much more like talking to individual people. I find it pretty easy to form. And I did hit Success Club last month fairly easily, but this month has been a little bit slower.
Yeah.
And I have been doing Facebook posts, but not quite as regularly. I have a like page. I do have a lot of people in my personal Facebook page, but just a lot of people have had some bad experiences with network marketing in my core group of people. So I have been a little hesitant to do it as much.
Man, I was so afraid of bothering people. With my network, I literally 2 weeks before I signed on as a Beachbody coach, I was rolling my eyes at other people's network marketing posts. I was, and I guess for me, after I made that first few $100s month one, I was like, well, that's worth it to post on Facebook a few times and make $300. Okay. So in my mind, that became worth it. And then also the positive feedback I get, whether someone buys something from me or not, has been far outweighed any negative feedback. Honestly, I've never received any outright negative feedback, but I am sure, just like me, there were people rolling their eyes and are tired of seeing my post-workout selfies, and I'm okay with that. But if you have more people on your personal page, I would consider, trying it. And you don't have to start with something. Don't start with an invitation. Start with just a transformation post. I started doing those not till this past March. So over a year into my business, but, and it's hard to get your customers sometimes to share their transformation photos, but man, they've been a game changer. I do think you have to still do the Facebook post invitations so that people know you're doing a group, but more of my people end up coming from my Transformation Tuesday posts or something else I've said about it that's not a specific invitation. But they know I'm doing a group. So I think it all kind of works together. Whether or not you get a lot of feedback off the invitation post, 3 days later, someone's going to see something and then, message you. So I'd consider doing some on your personal page and start out slow, but any other questions? Any other questions?
I sort of have a question, more like this is how overwhelmed I am. But I struggle with coaching my coaches or training them. I put them through a Facebook training, but I didn't get a lot of response. Not very many people commenting and doing the assignments. And so what is the best way to get them, because I want them to have the same passion about it as I do, and I'm worried I'm not, passing that on to them. So I don't really know what I'm asking.
No, I actually feel like that's the same way I was. I strongly believe that the people that want this are going to figure it out whether we provide training or not. But that being said, hold on, please. I also feel like like you said, maybe you're worried you're not creating a big enough vision or casting that vision for them. And I did feel like that too. So I've really had to find that balance between letting them know what's possible, but without overwhelming them. Again, if I didn't even want to be a top coach my first month, I would have been overwhelmed if Lindsay had made me message everyone in my friends list, So I think it's finding that balance. And like I said, Savannah, I stopped doing those groups because it was discouraging. And I now, like I said, I will send my new coach training document to Vanessa if she doesn't mind. Again, I don't want to overstep what you guys have going on your team, but, and you can see it. And again, I literally, if my new coaches even want it, some of them are discount. So they're like, I don't want all this. Again, I send it to them and say, let me know what questions you have as you go through it. And that's it. So maybe that's something that you can kind of give yourself some freedom, Savannah, and just do it that way. Anyways, so yeah, that's what I do. I hope that helps. Shelby, I see your question. She said, I think I'm struggling most with just forming and conversing with people. I'm working on it, but I'm just not the best with it. I think you're probably overcomplicating it. Literally, I will find someone on my friends list. Maybe I have no idea what's going on in their life. I go to their page. I see a cute picture of their kid, and I say, hey, I came across your profile. I cannot believe how big little Sarah is getting. So how are you guys? Literally, that's all that first conversation is. It's not a conversation. It's like 2 sentences. So I don't know if that helps, Shelby. It's in some ways basic, but if you've been overthinking it, that's all you have to do. And I don't think it comes off. I mean, I know some people probably know, oh, I bet she's going to bring Beachbody up eventually. But that's okay. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. If the opportunity presents itself, I will. But I don't always. And again, some people don't respond, but I've never gotten anything negative. Why are you messaging me out of nowhere? Or, most people are thrilled to talk about themselves. So yeah, just simplify it. Find one thing to say about them. Or like they've said, if it's someone's birthday, just write a thoughtful birthday message, and it's crazy how people, hold on please, that I've conversation started 3, 5, 6 months later, then ask me about a challenge group. And our conversation had been long over. It's not like we've been conversing for all those months. And I always wonder, would they have felt like they could approach me about it had I not conversation started them 6 months ago? Maybe they would have, but it feels good to see oh, I talked to her, 8 months ago. And I think it makes a big difference. And again, now people don't feel like they're messaging you out of nowhere because you've already made the connection again. You've already reconnected. Anything else?
Mom,
Yeah, baby.
I like this dress.
Oh, I know. I like that dress too, but it's too small now.
It's not.
Well, I appreciate you guys. This was just really fun for me. And
Mom.
friend me on Facebook. If you ever have any questions, feel free to message me. I know it sometimes seems like there's not a lot of I don't know. There's a lot of stay-at-home moms in Beachbody, but me and Vanessa were talking moms of 3 or 2 or 3 are it's a whole nother world. So it's cool that you guys even do these calls like this in the morning. I wish I could do that with my team. But I think we're going to end soon. So I guess I will leave the meeting and Vanessa can maybe end the call. But thank you again. It was nice meeting you guys. Okay.
Mom.